Did you know that the Bible says it is more important to be spiritually smart than scientifically smart? Hello, and may I extend to you a very warm welcome to Moral Video Productions. I'm James, and we are so excited to begin another series that we simply call, Did You Know the Bible Says? Before we get into the real point of this lesson, however, may I ask you, did you know that you could help our channel to grow? You can just by clicking the like button, sharing our videos with others, subscribing to our channel. The subject matter of these videos is not very favorable to the social media bots and algorithms. So anything that you could do is very much appreciated. Okay, enough about that. Back to our topic in which we ask the question, did you know that the Bible says it is more important to be spiritually smart than scientifically smart? While Jesus was on earth, he met many different people, which were some rich and some were poor. Some were very well educated, some were not. However, Jesus was not interested in people's financial or educational status. Rather, he was interested in their souls, which is why he spent his entire life teaching people how to get to heaven. Some of those to whom Christ spoke listened carefully, and when they realized that he was teaching the truth, they quickly obeyed him. But some did not like what Jesus taught. They thought that they were far too smart for Jesus to teach them anything. In Luke 12, verses 54 through 56, we see Christ confronting people just like this. Then he also said to the multitudes, "Whenever you see a cloud rising out of the west, immediately you say that a shower is coming. And so it is. And when you see the south wind blow, you say that there will be hot weather. And there is. Hypocrites! You can understand the face of the sky and of the earth. But how is it that you do not understand this time?" Now, Jesus was trying to get these people to see that while they were scientifically smart, they were spiritually ignorant. They could see the clouds forming in the sky and predict rain. They could detect the winds blowing across the earth and predict searing heat. Yet they were not smart enough to look at the miracles of Christ, those that he had performed right in front of them, and see that he was God's Son. Nor were they smart enough to believe him when he told them what they needed to do to be saved from their sins. They gladly acknowledged the physical signs that could help them predict the weather, but they refused to accept the spiritual signs that would help them get to heaven. There are many people today who likewise have failed to realize that it is much more important to be spiritually smart than it is to be scientifically smart. As Jesus explained in Matthew chapter 7, verse 21, the only people who will make it to heaven will be those who do the will of the Father. Now, Paul warned the young preacher recorded in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20, and this is from the King James Version, "O Timothy, keep that which is commanded to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called." Paul did not oppose science, but it was false science, false knowledge that he was against. Now, God warns us to be concerned about evidence, as the Hebrew writer said, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for," notice, "the evidence of things not seen." Hebrews 11 and verse 1. There is evidence all around us to prove the point that Paul wrote to the Christians in Rome, recorded in Romans 1 verse 20. For since the creation of the world, His invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. Things that are made. That's you and me. We have the ability to understand that which God has given to us to be evidence for His existence. By the things which are made, even His eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Who's the they He's talking about? Those without excuse. The creation that rejects God, that says there is no God, where there is evidence aplenty that God does exist. One cannot even look up at the night sky without receiving understanding that God is quite real. Remember what the psalmist wrote? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows His handiwork. Psalm 19, verse 1. One may claim to be an atheist, but are they really? Verse 28 of Romans 1 clearly states, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a debased mind to do those things which are not fitting. God will not force anyone to obey Him in this life. However, look what He says about those who are not smart spiritually. Romans 1, verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Scientific acumen will not get anyone to heaven. Only obedience to God can do that. How about you? Are you spiritually smart? Please allow me to encourage you to always judge righteous judgment.